Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Shamanism, Metaphysics, and Grace. Thanks for joining us today as we dip in with my favorite astrologer, Jyoti Wind, to what the stars have in store for us the next 2 weeks. Jyoti, welcome.
Thank you, Lauren. Lovely to be here.
Yes, yes. Once again, we're all still here. That sounds good. That feels normal, but there's some other things out there that feel a little bit different.
Well, we're moving up toward the new moon, but I just noticed that Mercury is at 29 degrees Scorpio today. It's going into Sag somewhere around midnight, I think, or 11:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And so that means that Mercury is just leaving Scorpio. It's at 29 degrees today, and 29 degrees is the degree of the magician, the Merlin effect, so to speak. And so it's a good day for insights, for alchemical transformations and creativity and having ideas, that just kind of float in perhaps, or a vision of something. So it's a very powerful day in its own subtle way.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So what I want to look at is that Mars is opposing the planet Uranus this Saturday, the November 11th of 23. And it's an aspect, it's very erratic energy. And so the advice is always be mindful of your energy so you don't stand up quickly forgetting you left the cabinet door above your head open. It's
Tell me
it's not
more.
well, it's not to engender fear. It's just to say be more mindful of your body and your energy so you know what's going on around you. But it also, really pushes the boundaries of uh you and your energy and your presence and other people, what you want to set in motion, what other people want of you. It's an opposition. It's either or, wanting to be and.
So give me an example of that, Toti.
Well, you might want to get to the store to get breakfast goods, and you're barreling down the street, and then all of a sudden somebody pulls out and you realize, oh, I wasn't thinking, I just ran a stop sign. You know what
Mm,
I mean? Or, not that there's any crash or anything like that, but it's like being mindful of your energy, which is going to feel perhaps a little erratic, and the energies of other people around you. So it's being mindful of your own energies
mm,
more
mm,
than anything.
mm. So what might be a good way to spend that day?
Being mindful, just paying attention to your own energy, where you put your feet, where you put your head, how you navigate your body through time and space. I mean, more consciously, more deliberately than you might at other times. We just get up out of a chair and go across the room and, don't think twice about it. But if you're being mindful, you're noticing that, oh, there's a pen on the floor I could have slipped on, if I put my foot down in the right way. Or maybe there's I'm not thinking, and I'm in the act of boiling water when I really wanted to go over to the sink and get some cold water for something. Because when we space out, I've noticed it more and more as I get older. And I noticed that, spacing out was fine when I was younger, but as I get older, I notice that if I start spacing out, I'm not present, I'm not paying attention, and I wind up maybe doing things that I didn't exactly plan to do that way,
Mhm, mhm.
So it's being mindful, it's being present, it's being looking at what you're doing, instead of having your mind thinking about what you're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me about how to navigate the day. I'm wondering what benefit comes of that opposition.
Oh, it's a bid for freedom. Anything that
Oh,
touches the planet Uranus, it's a big bid for freedom. People want to do things in their own unique way. And see, that's the thing about being aware of your environment and your surroundings, because you're kind of beelining something, you know,
ah,
you're just not mindful in the moment. Maybe your mind is thinking about a project you have and what the pieces you need to complete that project are, and you're not thinking about what the day holds for you in the moment.
hmm. I got this vision of folks being in the same house and each having that same experience and kind of crashing into one another
In the
in the
middle of the living room.
right.
Yes. Yes.
That was the picture.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then the new moon, which happens on Monday, November 13th at 2:27 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, also carries that same aspect, because moon, sun, Mars, and yeah, are all opposing the planet Uranus. So it's not only the moon, um, still opposing the planet Uranus by 1 degree instead of exact. But it's the sun and moon also opposing the planet Uranus. I mean, Pluto and Uranus to me are the big movers and shakers these years, and they continue that way into next year. Saturn right now is kind of playing with the big people, the big boys, the big girls, because it's been so slow retrograding back to early Pisces. Now it's gone direct for about a week or so, and it's still moving so slowly. So people might feel like there's no movement. I'm still in the same place. I'm even if I have an idea of something I want to set in motion, it's like people to call me back or things to purchase, and when they arrive, and it's everything is just so slow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, in the middle of all of this erratic energy, there's also things that you might want to be setting in motion and see some feedback from or results from, and it's just incrementally slow.
Hmm. So how can we work with that?
Patience,
That's, thought you were
patience.
going to
I
say
mean,
that.
well, I've developed some, but it was never my strong suit.
Yeah,
I have Venus in Aries, and you know, I want the answer before the question was fully formed.
sure.
It's just part of my nature. And so I've had to learn patience. Children are good teachers of patience for people. Sometimes they were for me. And but this new moon, it's a new cycle of how you manage your energy, your sense of direction, the challenges that meet you with the sun, moon, and Mars all opposing the planet Uranus. And this new moon, this new cycle absolutely wants change. There's no question, because the planet Uranus rules Aquarius and is the planet of change, usually lightning like change.
So how does that work with this slowness that you're speaking of?
Well, you know, some people have two different parts of themselves, the part that likes to go out and party, and the part that likes to curl up on the couch with a book.
Mhm.
And they manage. They manage. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's time for town, sometimes it's time for the couch.
Mhm.
And so there might be a part of your life that's kind of moving slowly, like maybe you have an art show, an art exhibit, and you're trying to get the pieces together, and it's slow going, and there's difficulty pulling it all together. And maybe in another aspect of your life, let's say with family, people are coming together, they're coming to town to visit, it's going into the holidays, or you're planning a trip. So, it could be two different aspects of the same life.
Hmm. Hmm. So when we're seeing that and we want to set a meaningful intention for this new moon, what might we consider?
Well, I immediately flashed on that expression of um, changing what I can change and just allowing what you can't change at this moment in time to just be.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks for
You
that.
know? Yeah, I mean, so it's acceptance and also being, Sun, Moon, Mars oppose the planet Uranus. This is saying you're an object of change. Not only is it asking of change for you, from you, it's asking you to be the changer in other people's lives, like that stone in the pond that casts out the ripple effect. And so as you're saying okay to looking at what's up for change in your own life, you become the changer for other people, or even the inspiration, or even the no, I don't want to change,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
effect.
yeah. Beautiful. Okay, okay. I think we can handle that. What comes
Okay,
next?
good. Well, this isn't an eclipse, it's a new moon. So it's a monthly occurrence, and it's right, getting near, not at, but getting near the end of Scorpio. So it's just saying, look to see on a deeper level what is up for change.
Yeah.
What is what because I'm going to talk about something as we end in a minute or two, about next spring, and this is kind of like almost like a precursor.
Oh,
This new moon is kind of like a precursor, because it's saying, loosen your hold on things, of how you think things should be, on what you know best for everybody concerned. I mean, where you are attached or possessive, or think you know what works for everyone. Nobody does.
yeah,
Only a person's soul knows what's right for them. And we can't always know what a soul needs. We just, try to hear our own inner promptings. So change is afoot.
Okay, forewarned,
Okay. Oh,
forewarned.
okay. I want to give a slight nod to Thanksgiving. I mean, we'll talk the day before. We'll do another podcast the day before, but I just want to give a nod. The sun is squaring Saturn. And so it's kind of like, if that was in a natal chart, I would say, to the person, you don't like being told what to do. Okay? So it's kind of like, don't get caught in the way you think things should be. Go with the flow as much as possible. And you know how impossible that sometimes feels when you're with family.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's great advice for Thanksgiving, no matter what the astrology is.
Yes,
Just go with the flow.
just go with it. Yes. So, what I'd like to just preface just for a moment is, that we have this Jupiter Uranus conjunction coming in April of 24. For those who want to know when, it's April 20th, and the degree is at 21 Taurus, 21 degrees of Taurus. So, anything that you have near that degree, it will be affected, and the house that Jupiter Uranus conjunction falls in will be what's up for you. But from what I'm gathering, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big aspect. It's kind of like we had the Saturn square Pluto with Jupiter square Pluto right up against each other, and that was the pandemic.
Mhm.
Okay. I didn't realize that Jupiter square Pluto is an earmark for a pandemic, a global pandemic. Okay. So this is, we've had a couple things like Pluto going into Aquarius this past spring, and it will come in again in January, late January. And, but this is the next big one,
Mhm.
okay, to pay attention to in April. So I'll talk more about that as we go. I'll gather more information on it.
Sounds great, Jyoti. Thanks for the heads up.
Sure.
Great. Anything else that we might have missed?
Mercury enters its shadow on November 26th and begins its next 7 week cycle. So it'll go into its shadow on the 26th of November, retrograde on December 13th, direct on January 2nd, and catches up on the 21st of January. I think that's the day that Pluto goes into Aquarius too, so that's very timely. So we'll have Christmas and New Year's with a Mercury retrograde,
Oh,
and it's just, it just puts you inside just a little bit to be a little more self-reflective.
not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing over the holidays.
Yeah. And if I am remembering well, you often suggest folks have a project for going into retrograde.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, because it gives you the space to be a little bit more mindful, to be a little bit more self-reflective, and it spares you a lot of the confusion that sometimes comes with Mercury retrograde because we're not an inward-looking culture,
Yeah.
uh, you know,
Yeah.
as a general term.
Yeah. So finding that focal point for ourselves and benefiting from that extra focus that we're
Yes.
going to get from inward focus. Cool. Great,
Yeah.
Jyoti.
Well, Lauren, I really want to thank you for all of these podcasts we've done. Thank you so much. Your questions and your inquiry just they slide right into what I'm thinking in a way, So thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Jyoti, it's the highlight of my month to be able to do this, and I so enjoy it. I think we make a good team.
I think so too.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Thanks.